Motoring 2010 on TSN is brought to you by Quaker State, real durable oil, and Michelin, a better way forward.
Whenever I come to San Francisco, I find myself humming that famous Tony Bennett song about leaving his heart here. Well, on this trip, the song going through my mind is entitled, What a Difference a Day Makes. You see, we're here to check out a new and improved product from Chrysler. And it seems like just yesterday, everybody was writing this company off. It was toast, even with Fiat's involvement. In fact, they were almost non-existent at the car show simply because they didn't have any new product. Well, what a difference a day makes. Today, $143 million in operating profit. They still have about $2.3 billion left from that government handout, and sales in Canada were up 28%, and that is with old product. Well, that is about to change, because this week we're going to check out a product from Chrysler that's as iconic to this company as that Golden Gate Bridge is to San Francisco. It's a 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee.
This is really the first in 16 new vehicles we're going to be launching over the next few months. So 75% of our product lineup will be all new.
I, quite frankly, am absolutely astonished. I'd written Chrysler off because the quality of the vehicles that was coming out, quite frankly, was not what it could be. A lot of them are still kind of slipshod and kind of slapped together. And I thought this company was done. I'm quite amazed. I really am.
The vehicle is entirely new, all new chassis, four-wheel independent suspension, premium interior, leather, soft touch everywhere. This is just a dramatic leap forward from where we were.
We're really looking to raise the bar over the previous Cherokee. One of the concerns of the previous model was fuel economy, and we've changed that significantly with an all-new V6, 290 horsepower, 32 mile to the gallon vehicle, capable of a 1,049 kilometer range. That's enough to get to Toronto, to Montreal, and back on a tank of gas.
On all four of the models, the E, the X, the Limited, and the Overland, you get our brand new Pentastar V6 engine, which is 3.6 liters, 290 horsepower. Very powerful, very fuel efficient engine, 32 miles per gallon. So we're very pleased with that engine, the way it's come out. And then a customer can elect to step up from there to the 5.7 V8, which also has MDS, where it will alternate from 8 cylinders down to 4 cylinders for improved fuel economy.
You know, Chrysler's bragging about this new V6 and its fuel economy, and so they should, but this new Cherokee does not have something the previous generation had, and that's a diesel engine.
We did have a 3-liter Mercedes-Benz diesel engine in a predecessor Jeep Grand Cherokee, but what we've brought to market now with the powerful V6 is fuel economy that is superior to that of the diesel offering that we used to have.
We've got our brand new Grand Cherokee 2011s coming down the hill. It's quite a steep, long hill. They're using the downhill descent mode in number 2 gear, and can leave your foot off the brake and the car will actually handle this steep of a hill all the way down with very loose dirt.
The percentage of customers that actually seriously go off-road, particularly in a Grand Cherokee, it might be 10%, but it's nice to know you can do it if you want to. And then additionally, we all know what Canadian winters are like. And to have the Jeep capability to get through whatever Mother Nature throws at you is important to all consumers.
Any car company that will take a car like this and let us take it off-road, to me, gets brownie points, because that's exactly what they did. The off-road course is serious. I mean, you could get yourself, in trouble with it, and we're up there going up and down it, and I think that's terrific. That to me indicates that they have confidence in the system and in the vehicle itself. So I like that a lot, and that right away gets my attention. A lot of car companies, they introduce a four-wheel drive vehicle of some kind, and all you do is drive it on the street.
The idea where they've turned it into more of a curvy vehicle, I don't know if that's going to be as popular with fans, but certainly as far as the legroom goes and the ride and the ability to very quickly shift it between the various systems that it has and the air ride suspension, I think is going to be very, very popular.
As we all know, the Chrysler-Mercedes relationship, better known as Daimler-Chrysler, is toast. However, this new Cherokee shares exactly the same platform as the up-and-coming next-generation Mercedes ML, and this is $22,000 cheaper.
Our alliance partner now is Fiat, but we still share a lot of technology with Daimler, and in the case of the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee, the Mercedes ML platform. You're going to notice that when you're driving the Jeep Grand Cherokee and its on-road characteristics and the ride and handling that you'd expect from a premium European vehicle.
We think 100% of the Jeep clients take their vehicles off-road. Most just do it in their mind. It gives them that little mental escape for a few minutes a day to think, hey, my Grand Cherokee can do whatever I want it to do. It's the best four-wheel drive I can get.
At least that guy had a reason for parking at the side of the road. He had a flat tire. Officer, what's your excuse? More later on Kenzie's Corner.
Is there such a thing as a sporty hybrid? On this edition of Test Drive, the Honda CR-Z, a car that wants to prove it's possible to be frugal and fun at the same time. There has been much gnashing of teeth over whether the Honda CR-Z actually qualifies as a sports car. This was brought home when a colleague mused out loud about the CR-Z's ability to be both an economical hybrid and a sporty ride at the same time. The reality is that it's both and more. It certainly has the style to say sporty. The manner in which this cabin has been finished off is very nice indeed. To begin with, the materials are very good, especially for an entry-level car. This stuff here, the silver, particularly good. These deep dish wingback seats also provide very good support. As for the rest of it, the layout is logical and the dash in particular is very good indeed. It not only presents all of the information in an easy to understand format, the three-dimensional finish is just plain cool. There is, however, a pet peeve. Now if you look down here, 12-volt outlet and a USB in. However, where's the auxiliary in? Up here on the dash. Consequently, when you plug a cable in here, it dangles down, so when you're shifting gears, it's in the way. This auxiliary in should be down here with everything else. At the heart of the CR-Z is a 1.5-litre four-cylinder engine that produces 113 horsepower and 107 pound-feet of torque. The hybrid part comes in the form of an electric motor that chips in with another 13 horses and 58 pound-feet of torque at 1,000 RPM. Combine the outputs and the CR-Z has a net output of 122 horsepower and 128 pound-feet of torque anywhere between 1,000 and 1,750 RPM when it's married to the slick-shifting 6-speed manual gearbox. On that note, forget the optional continuously variable transmission, unless of course fuel economy is of paramount importance. When it comes to versatility, this CR-Z is actually pretty good. With the separator folded flat, you've got about 25 cubic feet of cargo space that's readily accessible through the hatchback. However, the hatchback does cause a bit of a problem. To begin with, when you look in the rear view mirror, the view is split in half by this piece. You in essence see half through the rear window and half through this panel. The other drawback, these side windows, they are small. Whenever you've got to do a lane change, you must do a deliberate shoulder check, and if you've got to back into a tight parking spot, fingers crossed. Spend a little time driving the CR-Z and it becomes obvious that this car has multiple personalities. Depending upon what the driver wants determines the right mode. In the eco mode, the quest for fuel economy takes precedence over all other considerations. It softens the throttle response to the point where it takes a really big stab at the gas just to get things rolling. It also cuts the air conditioning run time and the manner in which the idle stop functions. Only those with a real fuel economy bent will use the eco mode, such as the yawn of the drive factor. The normal mode, it strikes a nice balance between the quest for economy and the need for a little performance. All of that said, the best mode is Sport, as it casts this car in a much more favourable light. It gives you better off-the-line pull and a stronger mid-range. In fact, this thing will get you to 100k in 9.8 seconds, which is more than enough to entertain. The good news, however, this car has averaged 6.8 litres per 100 kilometres during the test. That is remarkable considering how much fun this car is to drive. Where the CRZ really comes into its own and makes its claim as a legitimate sports car is the manner in which it challenges a twisty road. There's little body roll, the response to steering input is both sharp and direct, and it has a balance to its drive that belies the fact it's towed along by the front wheels. It takes quite a lot to overpower the P195 50R16 tyres and actually get the nose to plough out of a corner. The other upside is that the tenacious handling comes with little impact on ride comfort. It is very European to the feel. The same applies to the brakes, as the anti-lock equipped system hauls the CRZ to rest from 100k in a short 39.9 metres. A lot of people have made a big deal about the overall performance this CRZ delivers. Yes, it could do with a little more power, but as long as the sport button is punched, it is tremendous fun, and a lot of that fun boils down to its ability to make light work of a twisty road. Over the years, well, there have been some great cars that had modest power, but earned the reputation for their fun to drive quotient. The original Mini, 48 horsepower. The current Mini Cooper, 120. The original Miata, just 116 horsepower. The original CRX, 92 horsepower. All of those cars had modest horsepower, but they also had a reputation for being fun to drive. This CRZ is going to join that illustrious list.
Make sure you check out the Motoring website at motoringtv.com. You can watch any program you may have missed. In fact, how about a trip down memory lane and see what we were driving as far back as 1988. Check out our blog, our photo gallery, and much more. It's all there at motoringtv.com. Chrysler is calling the new Jeep Grand Cherokee a full-size SUV. Well, I think that's stretching it just a bit. A GMC Yukon, now that's full-size, but then again, that's a truck. Now, they have increased the cargo space in the Jeep by 19%, but still, I wouldn't call it full-size. Mind you, on a positive note, the Jeep does come with a full-size spare and two very handy storage containers. All right, now let's head to the Quaker State Garage and join Bill Gardner.
Hey Brad, surprise, surprise. We just happen to have the full-size GMC Yukon SUV right here. And you know what? Whether your vehicle is full-size, mid-size, pint-size, I don't care what size it is, your maintenance is going to have to be bang on when you're driving in hot weather. We've had lots of hot weather right across the country so far this summer. And you know what? If your maintenance is right on the button, your vehicle will survive without any adverse effects. Brad, a great place to pick up on your maintenance would be to take your vehicle into your mechanic of choice, be it fast lube shop, independent garage, tire shop, dealership, whatever, whoever's been maintaining your vehicle, now's the time to get it in there and get them to look at it. Now, the two areas that are going to be most stressed on your vehicle in really hot weather driving is your cooling system and your tires. And you know, think about those cars that you see broken down on the side of the road. The number 1 and 2 items are blown tires and overheated engines. Could be as a result of bad rad hoses, fan belts, old coolant, water pump leaks, whatever, but make sure that cooling system and tires are up to scratch. Not at the expense of everything else, because we want to look at the whole vehicle as a complete package, maintaining everything the way it should be. And a great place to start is go into your mechanic of choice armed with your owner's manual, which has the maintenance schedule and all the receipts or bills or your folder of vehicle expenses, what you've done on that vehicle to date, and mesh those two and find out, have I driven past any of those maintenance items that were supposed to be done at 160,000 K, or Coolant, for example, on this GM, 5 years, 240,000 K interval. Have I gone past any of those? Am I behind on any of my maintenance? You can bring that up to spec and look at everything else. If your car's fairly low mileage, let's say under 80,000 K, you might need nothing more than just a proper oil change, check all the driveline fluids, check tire pressures, etc. This time of year when you're checking tire pressures, it's ever so important to do it with the tires stone cold. Now that's the advisory year round, but in the summertime you've got tremendous heat gain in those tires and tremendous pressure gain because of that heat. So if you've driven the vehicle even a couple of kilometers, your tire pressure check won't be relevant. So make sure you do it in the evening when the car's fully cooled down and adjust your tire pressure accordingly. Look at that whole vehicle, bring everything up to spec, and you'll probably have a worry-free drive in the summer months, regardless of the heat. Till next week, I'm Bill Gardner for Motoring 2010.
Felipe Massa and Fernando Alonso were in town to race their Ferraris at the Montreal Grand Prix this year. However, when they met the press, the subject was not so much about the big race, but rather that Formula One is about showcasing the fuel and lubricants that will ultimately end up in our own vehicles.
Knowledge to everybody.
Shell's committed to using our Formula One activities for innovation. So we're using this for testing new technologies, new innovation, helping us really learn about how motor oils work in a really advanced but controlled condition that is the Formula One car. But because the basics of what the oil is doing are the same as in your car, we're able to transfer technology from what we're learning in Formula One into our commercial products. So if you go out and buy the Pennzoil Ultra Oil or the Shell V-Power Fuel, you really are benefiting from Shell's Formula One program with Ferrari.
And the desire that someone may be able to create a lubricant that can keep that engine exactly like the day it was built is something very, very powerful.
We are very proud to offer Pennzoil Ultra. It's a super premium product. It has hyper-cleansing technology. It's proprietary to Shell. And we're very proud about the fact that nothing keeps your engine closer to factory clean than Pennzoil Ultra.
It's all about passion and all about our commitment and investment into our technology partnership with Ferrari and also all the R&D we put behind the product. So we can transforming our technology not only in the track with the winning performance of Ferrari team, but also transforming that technology into everyday driving.
The average person cannot see inside their engine, probably nor do they want to see inside their engine, quite frankly, but they do want to know that the lubricant is providing the ultimate level of protection for their engine.
I think at the end of the day it's credible for both that relationship between the two brands, but it also provides credibility for the products that we provide to the normal public.
Are you a male heterosexual motorist easily distracted by scantily clad female pedestrians? Well, the Menzoid has an invention that might just be the biggest thing since intermittent wipers. And you can see more on motoringtv.com.
Closed captioning of Motoring 2010 is brought to you by the most fuel-efficient crossover on the highway, the all-new Chevy Equinox.
Now, some of you older viewers might actually remember when there were police cruisers that actually cruised on the highways, patrol cars that actually patrolled. Well, where are you most likely to see a cop these days? Parked in his car, idling at the side of the road, we covered that a couple of weeks ago, with a radar gun pointing at the traffic. Now, what's he going to be catching there? Guys going 19K over the speed limit? Now, I'm not saying this just because Brad got stopped for going 19K over the speed limit. But the point is, those aren't the people that are causing the crashes. They're just keeping up with the flow of traffic. Now, if I were a cop, can you imagine? What would I be doing? I'd be out there in an unmarked car, and it wouldn't be a Tahoe with flashing red lights in the grille. That's hardly unmarked. It wouldn't be a Crown Victoria with a huge anti-sway bar below the rear axle, dead giveaway. I'd probably be in, I don't know, my Jetta TDI wagon, because the stuff that I see on the roads every day, these people should be in jail. The SUVs carving in and out of traffic, not a turn signal to be seen. We're still seeing lots of people on cell phones and texting, even though it's illegal in a lot of jurisdictions in this country now. Tailgaters, people brake testing, transport trucks, guys passing on the shoulder. If you're parked at the side of the road, you're not seeing any of this. Now, sometimes police officers tell me these charges are hard to prove. Well, the technology's there. I've said it before. You get a wide-angle video camera in the cruiser. You can download chunks of it as you need into a hard drive. You take it to court, boom, the guy's got it. Now, is it permissible in court? If the perp knows you've got it on tape, he's not going to fight you. Because I know why the cops do this, because their bosses, the assigning sergeants or whatever, expect them to run a certain number of charges. Forget about whether it has anything to do with actual traffic safety. So why can't we get the cops to get out there, get the things that are causing the damage, and then we can maybe get some progress. But think about that for a minute. Me, a cop, with the gun. I'm Jim Kenzie.
So is the 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee going to lead Chrysler out of the ashes? Well, it's a good beginning when you consider this company is going to change up 75% of its lineup, which translates into 16 new vehicles by the year end. As we saw earlier with the Jeep, it is more than capable off-roading, even on those steep hills with the so-called pucker factor. But it's also impressive on the road. Very comfortable and very quiet inside. And believe me, this is no truck. Now, I do have a little issue with Chrysler. The company says that the V6 with about a 93-liter fuel tank can go from Toronto, Montreal, and back. That's 1,000 kilometers on one tank of gas. I'm having a hard time buying that one, but on a future program, we'll do a real-life test. Now, Chrysler also says, and I do believe them, that there's about 350,000 customers in this country for luxury sport utilities, and they're hoping to get a good piece of that pie. Now, before we go, just a reminder that you can join us on Facebook and visit our website for the total motoring experience. That's it for now. We'll see you next time out as we continue to bring you more stories about cars and the people who drive them.
That's one of the reasons why we're here in Alberta, where we sell a ton of trucks out here. It's really truck country. 1 in 3 vehicles in Alberta is a pickup truck, and 65% of our pickup truck sales, or heavy-duty pickup truck sales, are right here.
Motoring 2010 on TSN has been brought to you by Quaker State, Real Durable Oil, and Michelin, a better way forward.